children of the night. What music they make. They're all gonna laugh at you.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
What's that?
I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash you with her.
What's up, you final lovers? Look at Jack doing some air guitar. This is why you watch live, so you can catch that goodness.
I love the guitar.
Get on audio.
Our intro music is the best.
I'm bobbing my head because I'm just digging it.
Well, welcome to a hump day special episode of Final Guys, because we survived the Isai Morales hurricane, and all is well. We're La Bambaing it all the way through this episode.
Except for Tim. Tim has no power still.
Except for Tim. You know, I'm surprised like Samson with his big long hair couldn't just grab a couple of power lines, just connect them together in front of his house and get the power in.
Good call.
But whatever. I do want to start this episode by saying, hey, I just want to thank everybody who watched the Scares That Care streaming event that we did on Saturday. It was awesome, raised a lot of money. Jason's perfect snarky comments while I was doing my thing, just what I was expecting.
People were not biting. I was trying hard.
How dare you shit on me to my fans.
I'd also like to thank all the people who joined me in these Scares That Don't Care.
Oh, you
who
son
did not
of a bitch.
partake this weekend.
Oh my god. Nobody likes
those
you.
damn charities for kids are the worst.
Yeah. I can't wait till next year, and I'm sure this virus will be gone by then, and we can head on down to Virginia.
Well, we both just decided we're going, so
hell yeah.
Get ready.
So we're there. Jack, I'm going to load you up in my backpack.
I'd love to do that.
Good, because
it's
you're
a cool event.
It's a lot of fun. All right, so we start every episode with our drinking rules, our drinking game. Jack, what are you drinking right now? Is that an energy
this
drink?
is a Kentucky Mule, Monaco Kentucky
Look at
Mule.
you.
Bourbon
Is it
and ginger
any good?
beer. Oh yeah,
Really?
Daddy like.
Bourbon in a can. That's got to be as
It's
good
got-
as a box of wine.
It's got many shots of bourbon in it.
Okay. We better get you going before you're out.
And another thing.
You sons of bitches. I hate horror. So, Jason, you want to give us the drinking words?
I can do that. Jack, your words are Scream, Wilford, and Key. Hunter, yours are Sequel, Mask, and Owner. Sequel's got some nice spelling. And mine are Drama, Cops, and Couple. And the bonus words are Airbnb, Cliff, and Rent.
As in, this show is going over the cliff. All right.
That was last week.
What do you mean last week? Last week was great.
It was great because it was ridiculous.
Yeah, it'll be much more tame. Maybe. I'm sober, so I guess it'll be less assholey. So, Jack, what's the news this week?
Well, clearly, whoever did the drinking words realized it was a slow news week, because all my words are basically based on what's happening. So first of all, Wilford Brimley passed away. So let's all tip of the cap
Yeah.
to Mr. Diabetes.
Met him last year. He was very not nice.
Yeah, he was at Chiller last year, too.
Yeah, I walked by him and looked at him.
That's enough.
My buddy got a picture with him, and it's the most hilarious picture because he is scowling.
Well, I mean, he was 85. Maybe that was just his face. He could have had Bell's palsy. And it
They
froze
should have
that
just
way.
locked him in a room with a little window, and everybody should just come up like the Thing, and he could be like, I want to come out now. I'm ready to come out.
I'm okay now.
That would have been more talkative. He, I remember, I think my buddy said he likes The Thing and something else, and he was like, that's all crap compared to this movie. And he was just cantankerous as hell.
Wow.
But then my wife comes over, and he's all smiles and,
Yeah, wow.
you know,
I wonder
chit-chatting
why.
her up.
Some
I
of
love-
his... Good.
I was just, and my favorite part of the thing with him is when he's just going, oh, and he's like pulling the organs out. He's so grossed out.
He's great in
Some of-
Cocoon, too.
Yeah, I was going to
Oh,
say,
yeah.
some of his films, Cocoon and Cocoon the Return, 10 to Midnight, Death Valley, China Syndrome, Hard Target.
Hard Target.
Yeah,
The Van Damme movie?
Firm. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I don't
He
remember
did a
that.
TV show with Shannon Doherty when she was a teenager, and he was her grandfather.
Really?
Yeah, it was like some dramedy.
No
Shannon-
one sold more Quaker Oats, and nobody has given us more memes than Diabetes.
Diabetes.
Poor guy. Was he
Guy
selling
was a legend.
catheters towards the end, or was
think
that
so.
someone else?
Really?
I think
don't
that's
know.
someone
They're
else. some
all
other
they're
story.
all anybody who like it was his age who's a celebrity is now on daytime TV pushing insurance,
Whatever they can.
CPAP machines.
Wee pads.
All right, let's get to the next drinking word that Sheridan anticipated. This is you guys are really going to lose your minds over this news. Courtney Cox is returning as Gail Weathers for Scream 5.
Yeah. She gonna drink wine all the time like she did on Cougar Town?
I got to be honest with you. I don't even remember how many of the Scream sequels I've seen. So, like, I am not anticipating the next Scream whatsoever. I actually want to go back because I heard Allison Brie is in one of them. And so
Is
I
she?
want to,
Really?
yeah,
Probably
That would have to
4.
be 4. Yeah.
I guess. So I never made it that far. I think I saw Scream 2. And I kind of checked out. So, Scream 5, I'm going to keep bringing the news because it's something to talk about. I mean, who's the Nev Campbell? We're waiting for the Nev Campbell shoe to drop here.
What's the last thing that she has done?
Nev Campbell was in the Kevin Spacey show on Netflix about the president.
House of Cards.
House of Cards.
I saw
I
her
also-
in the Rock movie Skyscraper, I think.
Oh, yeah.
She also does catheter commercials in daytime TV. I wanted to make sure I got checked just as he was taking a drink.
Perfect. That was perfect. Tip of the cap.
Danny Thomas. spit take.
Almost got a spit take.
Be in 3D. All right.
I
The
mean,
last
look,
piece. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I have no interest in this another Scream, but I understand there's a lot of people that do, so that's awesome. Just get everyone on the horror train. It's fine.
It's the Ready or Not crew, so
Yes.
I'm going to give it a shot.
Mhm.
We'll
Did
see.
you do the Screams as one of your franchises?
It's on the list, yeah.
You have to do the TV show along with the movies,
No.
season after
So-
season.
You and all these assholes on Twitter who are trying to get me to watch the worst garbage and the longest running shit.
Well, first of all, it's kind of your thing. You made this.
Yeah, I did, but I didn't want it to go as far as it's gone.
You don't have to say yes to these people.
There's
They're
nothing
not
else to
paying you.
watch. Well,
they're
that's
not
true.
leaving. They're not leaving reviews and sharing like we asked them to. So maybe get a little something in return. When they ask you, you get a give and take. It's like a negotiation.
Yeah, for every iTunes review, I will do a series or something like that.
Yeah. Get ready for some like Norwegian stuff.
Somebody was saying about a Norwegian slasher series or a Swedish slasher series.
Yeah, let
There we-
Steve Barnard pick your next one. Because
Well, he's one of the ones that's. What was he trying to get me to watch? I Spit on Your Grave series. I'm like, dude, I don't want to watch that shit.
It's not bad.
I've seen
See-
the first one of the remakes.
Right. The 3 remakes are actually pretty good. The
It's
first
so
one is
torture-y,
classic
though.
for what it is.
the first one is long. The original.
Yeah. A lot of nothing going on.
Did I watch it at your house?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, because I hadn't seen it since like high school, and we were like, let's watch this.
But yeah, I like watched all the remakes like within a week, and it's like, man, these are pretty good.
You know, when you're seeing somebody's dick get cut off and put in his mouth, it's like, yeah, right. You know, that's fine.
Hey, Jack, didn't we met who did Lorena Bobbitt cut the penis off of? What was that guy's name?
John Bobbitt.
John Wayne Bobbitt, was that his name or something?
I don't think I met him.
Oh, well, he was at a chiller next to Screech from Saved by the Bell, and they were such minor celebrities. They put them next to the guy selling toys.
Wait a minute. Now that you say Screech,
Yeah,
that might
You
have been
were
the
there.
year where Eric Estrada was there.
I think so.
Wait, are you saying
that's
John
the-
Bobbitt or Lorraine Bobbitt?
John Bobbitt, the
He-
real
John
guy.
Bobbitt. That might
So-
be the year that I met Greg Brady.
So yeah, they put them in the toy vendor room. They didn't even rate the celebrity room. This was at a time when they had like porn stars had their own room and wrestlers.
How's John Bobbitt a celebrity?
He was selling his sex tape.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I think we saw one of the chicks from the Bear Wench Project at Schiller.
I'm sure we did. I'd
Good
bought
old
one a
Jim
drink
Wynorski.
without knowing it.
Should put that on my list.
Oh God. Those have
I'm in.
thighs.
Featured film, Bear Wench Project 2. The last piece of news is that Stephen King has given his approval for a script for the Firestarter remake, which is probably doesn't have a release date, but they're hoping to start shooting it this year, which good luck with that.
Yeah, where? Reykjavik?
Right.
Seriously.
Yeah,
I don't mind that.
Firestarter Zoom edition.
Blumhouse, I guess it's a new adaptation of the book. Jason Blum is involved with it. I feel like Firestarter is one of those kind of forgotten movies that nobody ever talks about anymore, so I'm okay with them taking another shot at it.
It's a solid movie. I don't remember the book. I read it when I was a kid, but it could get a remake. I don't mind that one. It's not
a classic.
Is there an actor out there that can capture the deep-seated anger that George C. Scott can bring to a role? Maybe Lewis Black.
Is Richard Jekyll still alive? Lewis Black.
Lewis Black.
Start a fire.
Imagine Lewis Black in like a changeling.
Well, it kind of looks like George Scott.
What's George Costanza's name? Damn it.
Oh, Jason Alexander.
Jason Alexander
as George C. Scott.
If Sam Kinison was still alive, that would have been the best.
Wow. Oh, good God. Yeah, that's really. I would have said Wilford Brimley, but that's not going to happen now.
He just slept through that.
All right, that's enough news. Let's get on to something
Think
else.
you're done? All right.
Yeah,
let's go talk about the stuff that we watched and read.
We have such sights to show you.
Oh, and Jason's going to show you all his sights. Stand up and show the crowd what you wear when you watch this, when you do the show.
No.
Guys,
Like
like
pants on.
Jack and I have never seen Jason from like the waist down.
No,
We've
I don't
known you for
exist.
almost 8 years.
I keep telling you I'm tall, but I'm not. I'm very
Exactly.
short.
I'm tall when I put on my exoskeleton.
That's right.
All right, what'd you watch, brother?
Well, for me, it was a little bit of a short week, but I started with, I think this was on Netflix, Session 9.
Oh, yeah.
love that movie.
I had not seen this in 18 years. Like, when did it come out? 2001, 2003? I mean, that would have been when I saw it.
Yep.
And this movie is damn good. I remember liking it a lot then, and going back and revisiting it. It's got a great tone. I had actually forgotten the sound design in this movie is incredible.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I mean, it just kills it. It's almost like they made up for it because this is this might have been the first movie actually that they made with like those early 24p digital cameras. So it has that digital video look big time.
It does.
It doesn't look great in that regard, but the sound design makes up for it, man. And the performances, David Caruso is great as always, super intense, and the story holds up. I knew what the ending was. I knew where the story was going, but my wife did not, and she was into it. She dug it a lot. It's worth going back and revisiting. It's one I hadn't thought of in a while, and it's really cool to see the Danvers spot too, before they tore so much of it down. So I guess I should say what the story is, but some guys are part of a cleaning crew and they get hired to go in and tear out asbestos and other garbage before they start renovating some of Danvers, and shit goes sideways. That's all you need to know.
Worst, if I saw that crew show up, I'd be like, go by, turn around.
First of all, they're like, you can do it all in a week. We'll get it done in a week, no problem. It's like, but there are 3 of you.
Yeah.
How the hell?
And 2 don't want to work.
He's desperate for money though. He's underbidding.
Yeah.
I think that movie gets better every time you watch it, because I think the first time you watch it, it's so kind of different that you almost have to digest it. And when you watch it a second time, you're like, oh man, there's so much going on here. I love that movie, and David Caruso has got some great moments in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool that it's on Netflix because that was a hard movie to find for a long time.
It was on Shudder like a year ago because I watched it like a year
That's
ago.
where I watched it too.
And I don't know if it's still on there or not.
Probably not.
I'm pretty sure it was Netflix where I saw it, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, Netflix has it now.
Okay.
So
yeah, it's great.
As you know, whenever this movie comes up, I went there and snuck up and snuck around the grounds years ago. And recently, I got a Danvers State Asylum T-shirt from a place in Salem. So,
oh, perfect.
Nice.
That's where we were going to put you in a couple of years, but I guess not.
Now it's condos. I can't imagine.
Really?
Condo, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, does anybody see Poltergeist?
Oh man, if I ever lived in an apartment, I would totally live there.
And they left the facade up, so there's like this whole brick thing.
I'm surprised Zach Bagans is in there kicking doors down.
Right.
Come at me, bro.
On. Yeah, you motherfucker.
I actually have thought about buying the Blu-ray for that because I want to watch some of the behind the scenes because I have such a connection to the area. And but I'm a cheap bastard, so that balances it out that I haven't done it yet.
We know what to get you for Christmas.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, Jack, what about you?
All right. The thing I'm about to tell you should be the next thing you two watch, although it's long. So there is a documentary that I've been hearing about for a long time, and now it's on Shudder, and it's called In Search of Darkness, A Journey into Iconic 80s Horror.
I was going to watch that the other night, and I saw it was 4 hours long.
Yes. So the boys at Ink Heist turned me on to this. Well, I already knew that I wanted to see it, but I didn't realize that it was 4.5 hours long.
Wait, did you just start watching it not knowing?
No. But I was planning to, and then I got the heads up. So shout out. So I got up on Saturday morning and said, I'm going to watch an hour of this. I'm going to break it up over the weekend. Well, I watched a good 2.5 hours on Saturday morning because there are little segments about different movies or topics. And so just when I'm like, I'm going to turn this off, they'd be like, Reanimator. I'm like, well, I got to watch this segment.
Yeah.
You know, Halloween, whatever. This thing is, it just sums up why the 80s is like the greatest decade of horror. There's great horror movies in every decade, but this magical thing happened in the 80s. And it was a combination of home video, special effects, the crop of filmmakers that came up, like all these different, this perfect storm. And Joe Bob is one of the people I interview, and he mentioned something great. He says, back then, people were just trying different things, and you hear about wow, we just wanted to do this. We just tried it. Now, like when people sit in the room, they're like, what can we reboot? What can we remake? Whereas back then, everybody was,
what will make us the biggest return on our investments?
Yeah. So you're just going to get your nostalgia fix. But the other thing is you start thinking about, well, I never saw that one. Oh, I haven't seen that in years. I got to go back and watch it. So, you know, now I'm like foaming at the mouth to go back and watch a bunch of these 80s things. So it also got me thinking too, you know, it's kind of an unspoken thing between us three and Tim and the whole gang, the community that we have in this is everybody's different ages and different places in life or whatever. But my God, like almost every movie they mention in this, like your top 10 horror movies, like at least 5 or 6 of them are like 80s horror movies.
Yeah.
Like, and it's this thing that like the horror fan, no matter who you are, if you meet somebody else who's a horror fan and you just say something like From Beyond, oh yeah, dude. And you go from like perfect strangers to best friends, you know.
There is a reason why there are horror conventions all around the world all the time. It's the 80s seeded all of us.
Yeah.
It's because it wasn't a part of people's lives before then. Just a thing you saw and you moved on. But it's like it's become a vocation.
Yeah, the advent of VHS and being able to find these crazy ass movies and take them home with you just changed everything.
Yeah. Oh, it was so good. I'm so glad I was alive.
So it's worth the 4 hour.
So you're going to have to break it up. So Yeah, I want to give Rich Duncan a shout out because Rich and I were going back. He's like, "Have you watched this yet?" And I was like, "Oh, it's on my to do list." So that was like the push I needed to make sure I hit play. But that's when he goes like, "Well, be ready. It's like over 4 hours." However, there's like at least 10 or 15 minutes of credits at the end, so it's a little shorter. But
I've watched the 7-hour Crystal Lake Memories twice, so I could do this standing on my head.
Yeah, you'll bang this. Like I said, that you're going to get addicted, and you'll watch more of it than you think.
Right.
But
I just
so
gotta
well
fix
done.
Shudder.
So yeah, you got to fix Shudder. If not, come over here.
them.
Come over here.
So
We'll get
pissed.
4.5 hours worth of pizza and beer, and we'll watch it.
Holy crap.
And you'll die of heart attacks.
A long day. All right, so yeah, I definitely got to see that. Faux show. I'm going to talk about a movie I saw at the drive-in last week. I think I talked about Beast and 20,000 Fathoms, the movie that came on after, and I think it's only fitting since Larry Cohen, the great King Cohen, recently died. Q, the Winged Serpent.
You saw that at the drive-in?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh, nice.
Part of the quadruple feature. Let me tell you, it was a 35 millimeter print. It didn't look so good, but it didn't matter. I've seen this movie so many times. This is part of the Larry Cohen, Michael Moriarty experience. They were amazing together. I think he let Moriarty just do whatever the fuck he wanted to do. Said, yeah, whatever. David Carradine, he just showed David Carradine on the screen. David Carradine is in it as a cop. There is a great scene because it's Q. There's this Mexican serpent lizard god wing thing that's going all around Manhattan and just plucking people off rooftops and dropping their heads on the ground and stuff. Michael Moriarty is this like small time grifter scam man who was also a jazz musician. And then the cops are trying to find out how these people are getting killed, but they're also trying to solve this ritualistic murder that went on as well because it's all tied into the serpent. It's very reminiscent of King Kong because you got a serpent at the top of the Chrysler building, which I think is a much cooler building than the Empire State Building ever was. But there's a scene with David Carradine where they're fighting they're on top of the Chrysler building, just blasting Uzis at the serpent. And it nearly gets him. The head goes in and pulls out, and he just smiles and looks at another cop and goes, wow, really big. Just like this silent... And he looked like he was going to laugh his ass off. Moriarty is just bananas to watch, man. It's anything that Cohen does and Moriarty's in it, you got to watch it just to watch him just riff.
There's a great little bit about that movie on that documentary.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
There are some guerrilla scenes because Cohen would just say, well, fuck it, I'm not getting a permit. We'll just film outside. And there's like stuff where you see people going, whoa, like he'll do like shots fired in the street and watch people thinking somebody just got shot. And also there's a great scene. I think Carradine is actually climbing up this water tower. Oh no, that's another movie. I'm sorry. I get this and God Told Me To. I always get confused.
God Told Me To.
Another great wacky movie. But this was such a fun monster movie to watch on the second biggest drive-in movie screen in the country. It was just awesome. So, and I could watch Q anywhere. I could watch it on my phone. It's just one of those go-to movies that gives me comfort.
Anything with David Carradine, I'm in.
Yeah. There's this Michael Moriarty is in this little bar and he's playing jazz on the piano and really playing really well, but the bartender doesn't give a shit. Carradine's drinking.
What? David Carradine was drinking?
Yeah, go imagine. He did this as a favor to Larry Cohen, by the way. He didn't want to do this. So bartender just kicks Moriarty out. As he's walking out there, Carradine goes, hey, man, I thought that was really good. And he just looks at him and goes, what the fuck do you know? Just walks out. And Carradine is just like he'd never heard the line before. I assume it was ad-libbed. And he goes, what the fuck do I know? It's full of, it's total New York in the 70s, 80s, man. I love it.
Nice.
I saw Guardians of the Galaxy at a drive-in this weekend.
Yeah, that looked
Very
awesome.
Cool. Awesome.
Very nice. I don't know that I have any drive-ins near me. I think there might only be one in all of Maryland. I'll have to look.
Hey, be like me, drive all over the place to find them.
Yeah, Probably not going to do that. But I am going to talk about The Devil's Advocate, another one that I decided to revisit that I have not seen in, God, I don't even know. But
I've never seen it.
I loved this movie in the 90s. I watched it, I don't know, 10 years later, and I still loved it. This movie is freaking great. It is so damn well done. And Keanu Reeves gets a lot of shit for his performances, but I gotta tell you what, he is good in this movie. Like this could be his best performance. There isn't a single Keanu whoa scene. You know, he is really good in this. And I believe this is Charlize Theron's first movie. I'm not 100% on that, but I think
it's an early Jeffrey Jones.
Yeah. It's just Craig T. Nelson is just an asshole in this. It's just a damn good movie. And the end really ramps up as you would hope something like this would. And it works for me through and through. It really does. So if you haven't seen this, dude, you got to go check it out.
Is that redhead Connie Nielsen?
Yes, I believe so. And she and Charlize are all kinds of naked in this movie.
Oh, okay. I'm in.
Like all kinds of naked.
Hunter, I can't believe you never saw this.
No, I'm not a big Pacino fan or Keanu Reeves fan, so I think that's why I stayed away.
Dude,
I saw it in the theater.
It's what if the devil was a lawyer? It's basically
look, there's Jeffrey Jones.
Yep.
Principal in Ferris Bueller before he went to jail or whatever happened to him.
For some child pornography charges.
The guy from Ravenous.
You've been skipping school.
Yeah. Some nice green screen there. But yeah, seriously, if you're looking for something that maybe you haven't seen in a long time or apparently have never seen, check it out. It was on Netflix. Damn it. And when it popped up, I was just telling my wife, we got to watch this. It's a little long. It's like 2 hours and 20 minutes maybe. But it's good, man. It doesn't really drag for me either.
All right. I'll watch it. I promise.
Okay.
When I'm not watching baseball, I'm like right now trying to absorb baseball before it goes away.
Yeah, give it another week.
The other night I was going between baseball, hockey, and basketball all night long. It was like I just got to get something. Ridiculous.
All right. I got a movie for you. Are you familiar with the Three Mothers trilogy from Dario Argento?
Yep.
So there's Suspiria, there's Inferno, and there's Mother of Tears. Have you ever seen Mother of Tears?
That is the one of the three I have not seen.
I have not seen it.
I saw Mother of Tears.
Really?
Did it leave you crying?
Asia Argento, the controversial figure. I don't know her timeline because she was part of the Harvey Weinstein thing, and then I guess there was this whole thing with her and this like 17-year-old guy. I don't know.
Oh, poor girl.
Allegedly, by the way.
Allegedly.
No. Ignore everything I said.
I don't know much about her. I don't know much about her off-screen life, but the one thing about Dario Argento, remember that 3D Dracula movie they made that looked like the most amateur thing you've ever seen in your life?
Yes.
It's funny when you watch this later Argento stuff and you're like, look, his early stuff was low budget and schlocky, but it
there was
created sort of an art form. Yeah.
Yeah. He had a visual style that was good.
And then like this is not as low rent as that Dracula.
Not much is.
The last third of this movie definitely has a lot of like schlocky horror stuff going on. But I actually, well, it's not a great movie. It's a fun movie to watch. Basically, like this coffin gets unearthed at this church. Yeah, there you go. That picture. And there's like a box on top of the coffin so they put the coffin in this graveyard and they send the box off to this museum. Naturally, they open the box and there's like this. It's essentially, it looks like an 80s t-shirt, but they call it like a shroud or something.
Right.
And basically the Mother of Tears is this witch and through circumstances comes back to life and has this shroud on or whatever. And Asia Argento is the main character and is being pursued by everything, including like an ape. I forget the kind of ape.
This is like the chimp part in Phenomena.
It is there's some really great schlocky gore in this movie. And there's the climax of it is ridiculous. You're going to laugh out loud at like the conclusion of it.
Right.
But like, I enjoyed watching, like, if you could get your hands on this for free or for cheap, watch it. Like, don't pay a lot, don't buy it or anything like that. But it's a solid like laugh. You'll enjoy watching a schlocky movie. And she's her performance, like she plays it dead on. Like,
did her father allow her to keep her clothes on?
No, movie? I wanted to get to that because there's this whole shower scene with her that I kept thinking, I'm like, her father's shooting this scene. Like, okay.
Even if he gives it to like a second director, he's still in there in the editing room. He's still watching the final cut.
I know.
So I've never seen Inferno. That's on my to-do list, but I just feel like it's going to be one of those work to get through kind of movies. So
there's worse things you could watch. It's better too.
I'll get to it. I have to watch it during the day, not at night. That's all.
Yes, to watch it when you're awake.
So Mother of Tears, check it out. That was a hard one to find, so I'm glad I checked it out.
All right. Well, I'm leaving the world of movies because, to tell you the truth, I haven't watched many horror movies. Between baseball and going back to watching Party Down. Remember that show?
Oh, geez, yeah.
No.
Yeah, I love it. Oh, it's a funny show. Everybody's in it. So I read a book, A Curse of the Pigman by Asher Ellis. He actually approached me and he wanted me to read it and see if I would give a blurb for it. And I got so wrapped up in stuff. Of course, I give the blurb after the book comes out. Genius me. But I mean, anything, it's got an awesome cover, great name. I love these books about isolated towns where bad shit goes down. And this is like this town, there's this huge storm, everybody's trapped, and there's an old legend about miners and people. What is happening is are they getting exceedingly hungry. They can't satisfy their hunger, like the bad little piggies they are. And then sometimes they get so hungry they start to eat each other or themselves or anything they can get their hands on. And it's a whole like cursed town story. And everybody who's not a townie, the few that aren't a townie, are trying to survive and kind of end this or solve the mystery. When I read this book, I go, this sounds exactly where Jason grew up. Like, I pictured this is your town. Not as yokely as I always make fun of you, but I'm going, this is probably exactly where the Brandt compound was at one time.
Compound.
All right.
I know if you ever get like exceedingly hungry, I'm like, oh shit, man, he's got that pigman curse.
Now I feel like I should read it just to tell you yes or no. This is similar.
Dude, totally. It's a really cool book. Cool new legends. I like hearing like people take just these brand new legends and creatures and stuff and what they do with them. So this is really a fun book. So it was a great summer read.
Nice.
That I should have read in the spring. So my apologies, but Asher, killer job, man.
It's got a great name. Asher.
Yeah. Asher Ellis, baby.
That's a pretty good name. Is that a pen name? Because that's a cool name.
His real name is Elroy Finkel. No, I have no idea.
Finkel is Einhorn.
Finkel. All right. So I went back to the classic well a third time. I actually did not start a series this week because
Good.
I just thought I'm taking 1 week off. I've been killing myself watching this shit for months. So I took a week off and just watched stuff I wanted to watch that I would enjoy. And what do you know? I decided with some buddies on Friday that we were going to watch Return of the Living Dead.
Oh,
Because
the first one.
The first one.
Good for you.
I just watched this, I don't know, 6 months ago when I did
it
the
for
series.
the show.
Yeah. And this just doesn't get old. This is one of my favorite horror movies. And, I never really thought of it as one until the last couple years. I've been revisiting it a lot for whatever reason. It is just so damn good.
Yeah.
I mean, what is there to complain about with this movie?
Nothing.
It's hilarious. It has great practical effects, tons of nudity. I mean,
Great. I mean, great character actors from the past. Between
Yeah.
Clu Gallagher and James Cameron, and oh my god,
It's amazing that Dan O'Bannon, who wrote Alien, although there's a lot of disagreement about how much of his input actually made it into the movie, but it's just so weird that he went on to direct, I think, one other movie.
yeah, I don't know how that he must have gotten disillusioned. Like he must have got jerked around behind the scenes.
It blows my mind because if you watch this, you think this dude is a master of horror. He must have done 20 movies before this to get to this point to where he can do Return of the Living Dead, and he's just didn't do much. It's crazy.
This is another one of those movies that when you are talking to somebody and then you both realize you have this in common, you're just Return of the Living Dead. One of the great things about this movie is it's funny as anything, but it's also a scary movie because they reinvented zombies and they didn't obey the rules of the Romero world. So when that happens, you're like, wait, what? They were like unstoppable.
Yeah.
And then the creativity, like we always say, like for a zombie movie to be good, it's got to do something different. And this movie did like 17 different things with it. So
yeah, including Linnea Quigley dancing.
Yes.
But
yeah, that's the number one thing it's known for.
The Tarman zombie is so cool.
Yeah.
I bought a shirt with him on it. I mean, he's iconic.
Yeah. When the zombies are setting up traps, the ambulance, and it's so damn good. And the two guys who get sprayed in the face from the canister.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, Jesus.
Their acting is hilarious throughout as they get sicker and sicker. It's just, particularly Oh Jesus guy is so over the top. It's amazing.
Yeah, we just lost him like a year ago, James Cameron. He was like 99 or something. He was the ShopRite guy for the commercials.
Guy. He's the poltergeist guy who moved the tombstones but not the bodies.
Oh, yeah.
You
son of a bitch.
Guy was in some legendary horror movies.
The other great part of the movie, there's so many. Two. I got two parts I got to mention. Number one is when they cut up the body and it's still moving and all that stuff. And then the other part is, and maybe one of the greatest scenes ever, is when they've got the woman's torso and they ask it why it wants to eat brains.
Oh,
it's like, because it makes the pain of being dead go away.
Yeah.
That is just brilliant.
That's so good. Her spinal fluid is leaking out. I mean, the movie nails everything.
The crawling zombie at the first episode of Walking Dead was like a tribute to her.
Oh, yeah. I remember her. Yeah. You know what? Now the sequels it's a law of diminishing returns.
Yeah.
But you can't beat the first.
I mean, it's not the worst series, believe me, but
no.
the first is kind of in a rotation for me now. I'm just kind of going back every year or two and rewatching this because it's just brilliant.
Yeah, it's coming up. That's a Horror-tober now.
Yeah.
Staple for me.
Yeah.
Baby.
It's the best.
Speaking of zombies,
I
had a big Shudder weekend. The other thing I watched on Shudder, Hunter, I think you watched this already, Blood Quantum, which is a zombie movie.
The Native American.
So this is a solid watch. It's a kind of a zombie plague thing going on, but it's in this town in like Canada, I think. And the indigenous people, the Native Americans, are immune to it, but everybody else isn't.
Mm-hmm.
So there's kind of two halves of the movie because there's like a little bit of a time jump thing going on. But they came up with some different ideas, and there's a little bit of humor to it. So this is exactly like the level of stuff that you want from Shudder. It was a fun watch, a good time. So I don't even need to talk about it much and just say I enjoyed watching it. Good premise. Check it out.
They had a Native American version of Michonne.
Yes.
Oh, really?
The sword. Yeah. Was when you watch it, what parts were like so dark you couldn't make out what was going on?
There was a couple of dark parts to it.
Yeah.
But
I think they would have reshot that if they could have had the money and time, maybe.
It didn't jump out at me as something that stuck. If you had asked me that without saying that, I wouldn't have complained it was dark, but I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Was it VFW dark where you couldn't see half the shit going on in the bar?
There were just some scenes like, what? I guess this is natural light here. And it's 2 a.m. And there's there's a can with fire in it.
There's kind of a cool scene at the beginning, just to give away a little bit, but where they kind of the tip off that the dead are coming back is like this guy caught a bunch of fish, and the fish start reanimating. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, I wanted them to revisit that a little more,
Mm-hmm.
but they didn't.
It's been on my list for a while. I think since you mentioned it the first time, I just haven't got around to it yet. So it's worth a view.
Watch.
All right.
Yeah, check it out.
We'll do. I just want to mention quick that apparently we're doing the host next week, not the host.
Yeah.
And
Host.
I had checked it out on Shudder, and I'm looking forward to talking about it. So it's a good pick.
Cool.
Excellent.
Is that it? Are we done?
That's all I
Done.
got.
Holy crap! We're gonna get to the main feature before an hour in.
No
Oh,
Timmy.
see what happens when you don't have that millstone on around your neck.
Son of a bitch.
All right, everybody, let's get ready for the main feature, The Rental.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know.
You have to have a favorite. What comes to mind?
My favorite is The Rental. Well, I had to rent The Rental. I'm sure you guys had to too.
Yep.
Mhm.
So we're legit, man. We don't just rip stuff and steal it. We're not about copyright infringement or not giving people their royalties. So we rented The Rental. Jack, want to channel your inner whatever's going on in your guts today and break this movie down. You want to shat it?
This movie's about a house that's for rent.
Yeah.
So the guest and Annie from Community and two other people rent the house from a guy who might be a racist.
Yeah. Possibly.
And then somebody might be spying on them and some bad stuff goes down.
All right. That's awesome.
Fair enough.
That's
You
it.
know what? I can imagine that was exactly the way it was said in the pitch meeting when they were trying to green light this fucker.
The two couples,
Oh, there's more.
Dan Stevens and Alison Brie, they're together. Dan
That's
Stevens
couples
and I can't remember the other actress's name, are business partners,
Mm-hmm.
and they just got like a round of funding. She happens to also be dating his brother. Now, Dan Stevens
Right.
is kind of like the I think I'm the smartest guy in the room kind of dude, and his brother is kind of more like a blue collar, not the sharpest knife in a drawer, short temper kind of dude.
Yes. Like a Southie in Boston.
Yeah, ready to throw down. And there are many layers to their relationships.
One might say.
That's it. The Rental.
All right. Jason, what'd you think?
I liked this a lot.
A lot.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this. I thought it was methodical for the first half, and I was thinking, is this a horror movie? I mean, I see where it's going, but this is like a drama, like a couples drama for the first half, and but it wasn't poorly made. It's just not what I was expecting kind of the movie to be. It's all really one location in this house, 4 people. 5 people, I guess, if you count the the owner, and it was drama, and boy, does shit kick up in the last act of this movie. It really turns everything on its head, and I was along for the ride. I really liked it. I thought it was a great idea. When we get into spoilers, I'll talk more about it, but I thought this was a great idea for a movie.
Dude, you shocked me. I said Jason's going to hate this movie. So,
Really?
I don't know why. All
Yeah,
right,
I liked
Jack,
it a lot.
Please tell me, did you hate it?
I heard a lot of people who saw it, or either reviewers or people I knew who had watched it, who were kind of lukewarm on it. I don't know. It was okay. It was this and that. So I went in kind of with the bar kind of low, and I kind of agree with Jason. I really liked it a lot. I thought it was a solid flick. And one of the things I liked about it was, for something that really the first half of the movie is kind of a relationship drama, but there's an underlying dread because something's going to go south. But I thought that I liked the way the characters were written. I thought that they kind of talked James Franco is what's his name? Not James Franco. The Franco brother who directed this.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Dave?
Francisco Franco, the dictator. No.
He clearly is like in the Judd Apatow world because the people kind of talk like real people in a lot of the conversations, and they make little jokes like real people do. So I liked kind of the dynamics that they made. Like a lot of the characters had different things going on, and there was sort of this like one lie leads to another lie leads to another lie, and you're like, how is this whole house of cards gonna fall apart? And there was one thing where basically they sneak a dog into the house, and just by doing that, you are holding your breath for if they get caught not having this dog.
Right.
Then the third act happens, and it kind of goes into sort of being a horror movie. And I will get in spoilers. I'll talk more about but I really liked what they did with that. So I came out of this like liking it more than I expected to.
I went in not knowing anything about this, just that you guys told me to watch it. I know every time I put on one of these movies, my wife goes, "What's it about?" I'm like, "Why do you keep asking me? I just watched the movie." I liked it too. I can't say I really liked it, but I liked it. First of all, I love Alison Brie. I think she's phenomenal. The whole movie, and I agreed. The first part was like, I'm like, all right, what the hell is this? Like, I could see a lot of people like hardcore horror fans just bailing because, like, I don't want to watch this talky relationship movie.
Yep.
What made the movie for me, when Jack, you talk about the dog, when Alison Brie is on Molly and they're searching for the dog, and she smiles and goes, "Oh, they lost the fucking dog." I was rolling. Like, there was a couple of scenes, like when she pops up off the floor, and like, what? She's like so high.
She was great.
She's great. Her brother-in-law was Lip from Shameless.
Yeah, who's great.
Playing Lip from Shameless. I'm like, yeah, Lip doesn't take shit. He's gonna beat the shit out of somebody before this thing's over.
Yeah.
So I love the fact. Look, typecast him all you want because he's great in that particular role.
He was great in that role.
And there's a lot that goes on with that kid. He's a man now, but you can see there's a lot on his face.
Jeremy Allen White is the actor.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah, when he appeared, my wife said, "Oh man, Lip's had it so hard." Or she was thinking, like, he's had it so hard. I'm glad to see him doing well.
Yeah, we can't disconnect him from Lip. So I actually dug them. My problem was there was zero surprises in it for me. I mean, except the ending. I did like the very end, how that kind of happened. Maybe you're surprised in the order of how people go in these things. But as it was all unfolding, I was like going, oh yeah, she's gonna have an affair with him at one point. They're probably gonna bang in that hot tub. And there were just so many things that they were hinting at and just went through, and I was like, all right. But it was a fun movie. And there's, in spoilers, there's something they did with the killer that I liked and I didn't like. But it's summertime, man. You need a horror movie? Pop this shit in right away.
Every time Alison Brie talked, though, I'm such a Community fan. I kept hearing Annie. From...
And the brother, the smart brother, what an ass.
Dan Stevens, he was great.
Stevens, yeah.
Hated him from the first moment I saw him.
They nailed the casting because these people portray exactly what you expect. Like when you see them, you're like, "Yep." Mm-hmm. The racist stuff at the beginning and the way that played out with I can't think of the actress's name or the character's name. Damn it, the actress is Sheila Vand, who played Mia. She just put off this vibe instantly that I was like, I do not like this character. And she's having like terrible things said to her, and I'm still not siding with her. I'm like, there's just something about this girl.
So she seemed too woke for you. I can see.
She didn't even say anything. At the end. I know, but man, I'm not
like,
buying
this
it.
Bitch is woke.
Yeah, I'm not buying it. And I thought they did a really good job. Kind of, even if they're characters you don't like or annoy you, they're still really well done.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's where the first half has the payoff. Because you're invested in them more than most horror movies because you're getting more, and one way or another, you're
if anybody's if anybody's going to get bored in the first half of a movie like this, it's me. And I wasn't bored for a second.
Well, you kept having Allison Brie to look at.
That's true.
That's why. We know why.
And even like you say, yeah, I know they're going to hook up or whatever, but the conversations are those little things of like, when you say something and you're sort of sneaking something into a conversation, I'm going to sneak this compliment in, this backdoor compliment, and to flirt,
Right.
or whatever, like all that like there was subtleties like that I liked, that was going on. And then, like you said, like Dan Stevens is like this, I'm smarter than everybody, and his brother is a hair trigger guy. And how many I have friends like that you're like worried about leaving them alone in a room because they might pop off on somebody.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, I've gone away on trips like this with friends, and it always happens. Like you get in and one person's got like, we're going to do this, 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 and this, and this. And I'm inevitably the one in the night going, yeah, maybe we should just do this instead. Or like, I don't know.
Can we play Scrabble?
And then that person gets mad. The planner gets mad, or we're tired. We don't want to go on the hike, all that kind of stuff. Like I thought there was hearts ringing true. And then the landlord guy was kind of like that older person that you're not sure, are they just like a sheltered older person who's out of touch and doesn't have a filter, or is there more going on with this person?
Mm-hmm.
He was so over the top. I'm like going, he's not the bad guy. Like that was so, I was like, there's no way he's the bad guy. Like, in my head right away.
Yeah, he was really good too. He had no problem showing his ass crack either. There was like an extended ass crack close up while he's fixing the hot tub.
Man, must have touched up with a lot of wipes before they started shooting.
Please cut away from this sometime soon.
You watch things like that and you go, man, there's some poor makeup person who spent time just powdering that ass up.
Maybe it was a prosthetic like Mark Wahlberg in Boogie Nights.
It's an ass merkin. So look, we all liked it.
Yep.
Thank God for Tim, because we've liked mostly everything we watched this year. So at least Tim brings us stuff we can crap on and really have fun with.
I've heard, like I said, I watched some reviews and people are giving it like a C, or there's some people that just aren't as thrilled with this. And like Hunter, you're right, it's not a perfect movie.
No,
and it won't be like the best movie of the year. But I really expected much less of a movie than when I watched. I was like, I really enjoyed this, and I can't wait to get the spoilers so we can talk about a couple of the things that made me really love it. But like, I was pleasantly surprised. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, I guess there's people out there that did find this too slow, or they did find it a little predictable, or maybe not horror enough in parts.
Well, because it's such a tale of two movies that if you don't like one of those types of movies, you might not like the whole.
Yeah, it's paced very differently from beginning to end, for sure.
See, I kind of knew it was going to be good because, like, Helen Mirren no longer needs to make bad horror movies. Like Winchester was so good. I knew Alison Brie doesn't need to make bad movies, so it would be good.
When I saw Dave Franco's name at the end, I was like, "What? Dave Franco directed this?"
Yeah, I know.
Shit, well done. Guy's got some chops.
I heard a podcast with him on, and he's pretty cool, and he loves horror, and he kind of knows what he's talking about. Some of the movies he referenced, I was like, I'd like to see what else he can do.
Yeah, no, this
Shocking.
is his first, right?
Yeah.
Then I'm ready to see the second.
His first horror movie, or his first directorial?
Directorial.
Wow, that's very impressive.
Solid.
Very cool. We've seen a lot of those this year. A lot of first-time directors that are just hitting it out of the park.
I mean, luckily he's had some more experience than most.
Yeah,
Yeah. Listen, I think the cast really carries this because the four main players and the landlord is good too, but you bought every single one of them, and the drama between them just worked. And listen, having Alison Brie in there and Dan Stevens, if Franco wasn't directing this and somebody else had it and they didn't have the clout to get these people, maybe we wouldn't be talking about how much we like this. We'd be like, it's pretty slow at the beginning. Right.
Yeah. It might not have made the cut.
Name brand actors.
Jack, you want to whip out your bell? Excuse me while I whip this
Excuse
out.
me while I whip this out. Spoiler bell. We're going to spoil the movie now.
Yay! I
So
like
if you
spoiling things.
If you don't want to hear it, see you next week. If you do want to hear it, get ready because here it comes.
All right. What's on your mind? What's your beef?
So, no, it's not a beef. One of the things I loved about this movie is that the killer is some random dude that we don't know.
Yep. Same.
And I loved that because I kept going, okay, it's the landlord is either a red herring or he's somehow involved in this, but there's got to be more to it. He's got a brother or whatever.
Yeah, he mentions
all
brother
that-
a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I was going, but what I did not consider that it was a total stranger, and almost like that movie, The Strangers.
Yeah.
In that, so when all this stuff happens, and then every single character dies, because of their actions, the killer is able to frame the landlord and putting all the evidence in his truck.
Mhm.
Like,
Yep.
and then while they're rolling the end credits, they're like showing this killer like and how he operates and where he's setting up his cameras and all that stuff. Because at first I'm like watching going and I go, oh, they're showing the credits up at the top like it's a digital. So
Yeah, I didn't realize that at first either.
yeah. So for me, I loved that. I love what they did with the killer. Just this brutal guy in an old man mask who, rents
Which
a
I was
place.
hoping was an actual old man.
Uh-huh.
That would have been really
It
fun.
was the Great Adventure guy.
Yeah, I was actually hoping for a crossover movie where you got the guy from 13 Cameras. Was it? He just pops up in it.
The wheezy guy.
Yeah, because it was similar to that in a way.
Very. Yeah. Yeah, just a little more money, a little bigger name actors. But in 13 Cameras, you see that dude the whole time. The killer of this, you don't see until the movie's almost over.
Yeah,
And is it really when I think they're walking around the house and he comes up behind them and is walking a little bit. Is that the first time you see him? It's got to
they're
be
in
close.
the woods, right? I think so. I think that might
it's
be.
before
It
she
kind of
drives
pulls away.
They're
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
walking up around the outside of the house.
Yeah,
And he like comes up behind them. And then I think the next time you see him is when he attacks Allison Brie.
I think so.
I
late.
will say I was shocked that she was the first to go,
Yeah.
unceremoniously.
Considering she was the only innocent person in the movie. The
Yeah.
only good person in the entire movie just gets axed hard.
It was
I thought
cool
that was
though how he ran up on the window,
Yeah.
and I just stopped it right before he got through the window.
Yeah, and as you watch the movie, like he comes running up like really hard out of the woods because he had to chug his ass from the house the whole freaking way through the woods to catch up to her where he put out the spike strips.
That is true.
Yeah, so that's why I was going full tilt. He had to run that whole goddamn way.
I love when the landlord comes up to fix the hot tub and she's like, I'm on drugs right now. So I'm
Oh
really
my God. And when she's like putting her face in his butt crack and
Yeah.
behind it. Oh my God. Yeah,
part
she
of
was
what
funny.
so what the thing that really kicks things off is so Dan Stevens has sex with his business
Mina.
partner Mina in the shower because you expect it to happen in the hot tub, then they don't. Then he comes back at her in the shower. They discover a camera in the shower. So now when they figure out that there's a camera, like we can't tell the cops because then our affair is going to get
Right.
So they were covering their bases writing wise on all this. But I did think it was so well executed when the brother just punches the guy. He's out in the, beats the hell out of him. He's in the tub. But then while that's going on, just randomly some guy in black comes and kills the guy. And now you're like,
Like, well, who is this guy?
wait, what?
Yeah.
I thought that was cool.
You know what's funny? I assumed that those two were having an affair from the very first scene.
The very first scene,
Me
When
too.
she's hanging over his shoulder and Lip comes in and they do that quick separation, I assumed that they'd always been having an affair.
I thought that was great writing because it set the table for you're like, wait a minute, there's too much chemistry between these two. Something's going to happen.
Yeah, for sure. I thought they were sleeping together the whole time. And then when it was a big deal, I was like, oh, okay. You guys
And I
just
will
act like it.
Yeah, and I'll give her credit because she looked absolutely haunted from that moment on. Like
Mhm.
they did something with her makeup where she just looked terrible.
They did a good job with Dan Stevens too. Like as you slowly find out more about his character, it's like he's just an asshole, and like he's been wanting to do this the whole time, and he's totally going to try and steal his brother's girlfriend.
Ugh.
Just good stuff.
What a fucking creep.
I'd really loved the part, and this is what sold me the most on it, I think, is when they're showing the killer cleaning up and he's getting rid of the cameras and stuff, and how simple his setup was. He just unscrews the shower head that has the camera in it, screws another one back on, done. He's not, fucking with wiring and doing all kinds of crazy shit and concealing. It was dead simple, and he just moves on and he's on to another house. And
I did it all at Best Buy.
Yeah, I loved all of that. The way they did that was perfect. And then I loved when the dog comes in and you're like, oh God, are they going to kill the dog? And he's just like, pets it. I'm like, okay.
Well, he tries to. The dog backs away.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And then takes off.
And the part that I was thinking, don't do it. When he's standing in front of the mirror and he starts to take his mask off, I'm like, don't do it. Don't show his face. It's so much better if you just have no concept of this guy's age or race or anything.
At that point, if they showed his face, it would mean nothing too, because everyone's dead that was in the movie. So you'd have no connection to that face.
Yeah, I like that it's just a
do
stranger that we know nothing about. I thought that was a perfect cutaway when they did.
He's the same guy who killed everyone in Hellfest.
Right.
It's a complete opposite of that movie Hush, where one of the scariest parts of the movie is when the guy takes off the mask.
Yeah.
And shows his real face. That was like terrifying. This one, it was better that he left it on.
Yeah, totally.
The other thing I wanted to ask you guys about was, so there's a point in this movie where they're kind of like, the landlord guy dies, and then they're trying to dispose of his body to make it look like an accident or to get him out there. And they push him off, and he doesn't go all the way down the cliff, so they have to climb down and all that other stuff. What'd you think of that whole scene?
I think that you could leave the body there because that's very viable. He died on that rock.
Yeah. You know what I wouldn't do is throw rocks down. You're going to crush his goddamn head, and people are going to be like, well, this isn't natural causes.
What the hell?
Yeah, I was like, were they trying to hit him
rocks.
so he'd like roll off or something?
I think so, but that's not how that shit works.
How about go to the house, look for rope, maybe tie some bed sheets together, and if you could lower yourself down. I don't know.
The thing is, though, I know that if I was in those circumstances, that would be my luck. That I'd get the guy all the way there, dump him over the cliff, and then he would get stuck. And I'd be like, you got to be kidding me. Now I got to go down. Like,
yeah.
I wanted him to be alive and stuck on the rock. That's what I was looking forward to.
I'm not dead yet.
Yeah, I'm much better.
I feel happy.
I thought they did a good job with showing why. So Lip had a hair trigger. I'm just going to call him Lip. But they didn't make him just a psychopath. Like the reason he beat the shit out of that guy. If I walked into a room and some dude threw my wife on the floor, I'm not asking what's going on. I'm beating the shit out of this guy. So it felt organic and earned. It wasn't just like he was an asshole who just beat everybody up for no reason.
No, other than that guy that he almost went to jail for.
But also, it kind of shows you like we were all just willing to accept that guy was mildly racist or wherever level of racist you want to call him because he didn't rent the house to or whatever. But the jump from, okay, this is like an old white guy who's kind of racist to who's spying on people and like the immediate to paint him as the total villain.
Right.
Like just happened quickly because it's movies. And so we're kind of just trained to, oh yeah, you gave me one or two flags. I'm going to paint that guy as one thing.
Meanwhile, his racism could have saved their lives if she was the only one who applied for the apartment, for the house. Now,
I thought he did a great job throughout. Kind of, you didn't know if he was really the guy or like he was confused a lot of times by things they said. Even when they said about not renting to them, he kind of had a look on his face. I was like, was that his brother or was that him that didn't accept it? And when he came in and said about cameras and stuff, he was just like, what the? But he was shit-faced too. So I like that. He was like, what?
Yeah, nothing like driving over in the truck to go fix stuff when you get drunk.
I liked it too because if you were in that group and Mina is kind of justified in what she's saying to the guy, but at the same time, if I'm with her, there'd be a part of me like, shh, just let it go. Like, don't don't do this now, whatever.
You're not going to convince him of anything. You're not
No.
changing.
Right, like-
You're not changing the man or the world. Let it go. But hey, sometimes you got to confront an asshole too. That
Right.
can be fun.
Yeah.
But like the uncomfortableness of the moment felt
Oh.
real.
Yeah.
It felt like going out with my wife.
And and she was clearly an asshole from the beginning too. So there was just this tension with where is she going with this? Like, this guy's an asshole. She's being a dick. Like, I just thought there was just enough of that to make it
But
awkward all around.
They're also
Right.
like officers in a startup company. So that personality, you have to have that kind of edge. You're talking to investors and board members and making cutthroat decisions. So you have an ego and you have an edge to you that the brother, who's like, he's not as intelligent as them. But like, so immediately the first thing is you think like the brother's like some kind of jerk, trouble, whatever. And then you're like, kind of like, oh wait, no, he's just sort of like a normal guy who's got a trigger. But the other two I thought were portrayed. I've worked in enough startups that I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of people at the top who have these traits.
Mm-hmm. And they got what they wanted, and then they got something else that they were wanting.
Yeah, they were egomaniacs and didn't go well for them.
Ha No, solid flick, man.
And one last thing I was going to say that I thought was a genius idea, that you could do more movies with it. I don't know that they should, but just the setup of this guy goes to like Airbnbs and sets up shop in just a random spot, and then that's his kill zone or whatever he's going to do with them. So there's no connection, really around. I thought that was just a really cool idea.
They did it in 14 cameras.
It's kind of like the whole Psycho for showers and Jaws for swimming. Is we are living in a time where anytime you sleep over somebody's house and there's a computer in the room, you're like, oh, is there a webcam on this thing? Are they watching me? Well, there could be.
I'll show them.
Or, there are people who have their houses wired and have cameras and you have no idea. And so this whole Airbnb thing, like, this is totally possible. So now the next time you go to a hotel or an Airbnb,
I assume everyone's watching.
Check the shower head.
Give them a show.
Give them the show.
The lesson for the peeping Tom is to not get a camera with a light.
True.
Speaking of giving people a show, it popped in my head when you said that. I watched Point Break last week. It was on, I think, Amazon Prime or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching it in 4K, and the beginning is not meant to be watched in 4K. When they have video footage of one of the robbers when they're leaving, he pulls his pants down and moons.
Right.
In 4K, you can see inside this man's intestines. It's like, oh my God. If that guy ever watches this version, he's going to be pissed.
Oh, that's horrible. Oh,
That was brutal.
all the more reason not to watch the 4K version.
Yeah, go back to Tube TVs.
Hunter, I don't think you were here when I was talking. I got a 4K TV and I watched Midsommar on in 4K. Oh my God, it looked amazing.
Oh, I mean, in the theater, I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah,
that thing
like-
shot beautifully.
Yeah, it was very cool to watch that.
It's not Point Break.
It ain't Point Break.
What is Point Break?
Uh,
Maybe Roadhouse.
Roadhouse for sure.
All right. So that's a wrap. That's nice that we see in a movie that we all like. I wish we could hold hands while we do it. We can't.
Kumbaya.
So next week's movie again is Host.
Host.
Not the Host monster movie. Host.
The Shudder movie.
Host. Like Eucharistic host? Or like, hi, I'm your host.
Host as in, I believe it's like a Zoom call kind of movie.
Oh, fuck. The last thing I want to do is see something on Zoom.
I know. But people are going bananas about this movie on Twitter, so I'm curious to see if it lives up to it or not.
No. People on Twitter are dumb.
It's true.
No, yeah, I will fix Shudder so I can watch this.
It's only an hour long, so it's a quick watch.
Oh, that's right. It's like 53 minutes or something. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
perfect. Dig it. All right, so that's it. Next Tuesday night, unless Eastside Morales comes back again to wreak havoc on the entire East Coast, we're going to do it Tuesday, 8 p.m., as always, and come and join us in our kitchen, the Final Guy Kitchen of Love.
Peace.
Bye.
Game over.